What do you look like when you change the world you live in? Do you look like this? Or you can look like this. People who change the world can look just like you or me. With a little effort, anyone can make the world a better place. Ruth Boyles and Ruth Scott played a big part in saving areas of Fox Chapel, so that many future generations could enjoy its beauty as they did. Ruth Boyles and Ruth Scott changed our lives in the Fox Chapel area. They liked bugs and birds and trees and plants. They liked walking in the woods and lying on the grass and looking into the sky to see the shapes of clouds and the birds circle high above. They were explorers and adventurers, and as they grew up, realized that everyone should have the chance to hike the wooded trails and get to know the animals and flowers of the nature around them. Ruth Boyles and Ruth Scott realized that children who learned the importance of wildlife and who could be outside to study it could make a big difference in helping to protect nature and enjoy it at the same time. The two Ruths started Fox Chapel School Nature Study courses, and because they had so much enthusiasm, the school district made it a required part of study.
You know me, but my name is Gabby. Dad. And guess who's going to be your hike leader today?
Gabby.
That's right. We're going to be studying today.
Flowers?
Flowers, definitely. We're going to be looking at some flowers. Very good. Not just any flowers, not the flowers you go and buy in Giant Eagle, but we're going to be looking at wild flowers. That's right. Flowers that grow out naturally along the trail. You've got trees, you've got birds, you've got some woodchucks, groundhogs, that's right. And does anybody know when we put all these things together, what do we call that? An ecosystem or a community. Very, very good. We're going to look at how all these things work together, okay? So this little tent caterpillar is finding a lot of things that it needs to survive here. What can it find?
Shelter.
Shelter, makes it shelter, uses it as a tree, yeah.
And that's for its young.
Very good. Well, actually these are the young. They're young what? Remember what they turn into?
Larva.
They're larvae, very good, and they turn in, what is it? It's a caterpillar, so what does it turn into?
A butterfly.
Very good, a moth. This is the egg case for the tent caterpillar, and that stayed there all winter long, and then those little caterpillars hatched out of there, and where did they go? Where do you see them? Yeah, right down there. You can see there's a big one right there.
How'd
Could you tell?
Because it has the little flower on top.
Oh, that's right. It has the flowers on top. Good job. Are there any flowers underneath? Nope. Looks a lot like the other Solomon seal, but this one's a fake. It's an imposter. We also sometimes call this Solomon's plume because this sort of looks like a little bit of feather sticking out. Do you think that slimy gooey helps it at all? Helps it survive?
Yeah, for like protection.
Can protect it first of all from drying out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool! This is called a gall. Ah, you remember that. A gall is any kind of weird, bumpy, lumpy, grumpy growth on a plant that's not normally the way the plant grows.
See how they move? Yours is like bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller.
A small acorn.
Pull off his legs and see it come back.
Go ahead and pull your finger along again, gently. Does it feel smooth?
Sort of.
Okay, now I want you to pull your finger gently along the worm this way and tell me how it feels.
Rough.
Rough. Okay, I want you guys to take a look. Look very, very carefully. Worms actually have little bristles all along the underside of their body. I mean, this is something we just came out here and we did today on our own, right? Run away, fly away, crawl away, hop.
Run away, fly away, crawl away, hop.
We're not going to stop you from living your life.
We're not going to stop you from living your life.
You were meant to be free.
You were meant to be free.
Thank you for spending this time with me.
Thank you for spending this time with me.
And then you want to take them and put them back pretty much where you found them.
Ruth Boyles grew up in West Virginia with her parents and 5 sisters. They did not ride in cars very often. In fact, Ruth Boyles walked everywhere. She would walk through the woods and look at wildflowers and watch butterflies. She watched the sun dance off water in a stream. Ruth Boyles eventually moved to Fox Chapel, where she lived in a log cabin with her husband, Dick Boyles. In 1945, just after World War II, Ruth and Dick Boyles learned that someone wanted to buy the Trillium Trail and turn it into a housing development. The Boyles were very upset and came up with a plan to save the Trillium Trail.
Well, it was before I was born, but the stories I've heard Mother tell were my father heard about a development company coming in and buying a tract of land, which is now the Trillium Trail. And my father came home and said, Ruth, we have to buy this property on Squaw Run because it's going to be developed. And my mother looked at him and said, well, what are we going to buy it with, Dick? And he said, well, we'll have to get a loan. And she said, well, we have no collateral. And he said, doesn't matter, we're going to talk to the bank right now. Come on, let's go. And the bank did give them a loan. And then they were able to pay it back because the borough in another 1.5 or 2 years bought the property and preserved it for what's now the Trillium Trail. I know that she taught biology and chemistry, and she had a great love of nature and flowers, and she was very happy that so many people would enjoy it. She had a wonderful sense of giving back, and I guess she had that early on.
Ruth Boyles met Ruth Scott at the Fox Chapel Garden Club. Together, Ruth Scott and Ruth Boyles started the environmental education program within the school district. First, they held classes at Squaw Run Park during the summer. Then, they held classes during the year.
That's right. Let's talk about that. How do seeds travel? You learned that this morning. Tell me about how seeds travel.
Well, when the wind blows, it carries them away to another location and then they plant them.
Great. What's another way?
They could stick to an animal's fur.
Right. So they're called?
I don't know.
Yeah, hitchhikers, or you said?
Travelers.
Travelers, right. Right. Travel. So, and then there's a seed that looks like a helicopter. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They blow off of trees and then swirl around.
I want to tell you about Spring Beauty that has already bloomed because this is really cool. It's a little white flower with a little pink line in it. And to a bee, it looks like a bright red line. And the bee, flying, buzzing around, looks down and sees that pink line. It looks like a landing strip, like an airplane. And it goes right on down and follows that line right to the nectar. Bees can't see a whole lot of colors, but they can see red. And that Spring Beauty was out about a month ago. And that's why the bees hover. Bees can see red, and that's why bees are around a lot of flowers. But I hope next spring you'll look for Spring Beauties. They're very good.
Children could be the protectors of nature and keep the area whole and beautiful.
Ruth was born in Ohio and came to Pittsburgh in 1930, enrolled after she had graduated from high school with honors at the Carnegie Tech School. And while she was there, she became ill and could not finish the last several years of her education. Ruth Jury, that was her maiden name, married J. Lewis Scott in 1950, and He was a research geologist up at Harmerville with Gulf Research Company. He shared Ruth's ethic of conservation and supported her in all her endeavors. Ruth suffered from ovarian cancer in the 1930s and was unable to have children as a result of a severe operation. Because of this, she and Scotty together devoted their time and their energies in teaching other people's children of how to solve problems and commit themselves to enhancing the environment. She had a little camp every Friday evening. The children would come there in the spring and summer and fall, and she would take them on hikes through the streams and teach them everything from geology to trees, names of the birds' habits, and they would walk through the streams. And then
Dutchman's britches in there, but I can't see them. And they come out very early in the spring.
But not like this year.
Now, when you realize we used to take 6th graders, but then they got so smart that we had to move down to 4th graders, and now the 4th graders are so smart, I know what we're going to do. That's bloodroot right there. Stuff. And the Indians used to paint their faces with that. That's the story they tell me. Sometimes I'm not sure. This is trillium. And it takes, trillium takes 7 years to bloom from the time it's a little baby.
Why does the borough let trees lay where they fall?
Because of the weak soil.
The weak
Because
soil?
of the weak soil.
Well, I think that's
in a
part
way,
of it. Yeah.
Yes. What are the rotting trees going to do?
Oh, fertilize the soil.
Yeah.
They're going to improve the soil. Look at the there's a jack in the pulpit.
Show how the flower opens to show the insects the way in.
Show how the flower opens.
Yeah, there are the stripes inside. And the insects follow those lines in. Just like the bee on the spring. It doesn't bloom till late in the summertime, maybe mid-August. This is called black snake root, or what are some other names of it? But it's really good to know the botanic name, because all over the world, the name for that plant is Simiciphuga. You're so smart. You're all smart.
They did something. They kept true to their commitments. Ruth Scott was on a mission. Her mission was teaching children to respect nature. And we're very fortunate that she was able to do that, and this will go on forever.
The dreams of Ruth Boyles and Ruth Scott can only come true with the help of children and adults working together to protect our natural heritage. It's up to you.